Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about how to make sure that your older Bridgemark machine is up to snuff and that the tick marks on our 3-axis handles are correct. Now, when they come out of the factory brand spanking new, each one of these little tick marks is supposed to be 1/1000th of an inch, 0.001. However, after they've been used, like these machines have been used since 1950, that's not necessarily the case. So I'm going to show you how you can make sure what each one of these tick marks are going to be. The bigger the change down here, or the difference between 0.001 and whatever it is, the more it's going to take away from your tolerance. So let's do that. So one of the things that you want to do is, and it really doesn't matter, you need a piece of scrap material. It could be aluminum, it could be steel, it could be machinable wax like we have here, it could be plastic. I like to use machinable wax for the simple process that it doesn't tear up my tools nor the machine. So we have a piece of blue machinable wax here, it's a piece of scrap. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my tool bit over and touch off against the top. So using the x-axis, I'm going to move my handle, and I'm going to bring it so it's placed over the top of the material. I'm going to turn my Y a little bit so I get my tool so it sort of fits right on there. Now, I'm going to bring the Y or the Z down. This is how I do it. Now, there may be another way that your company wants you to do it, but this is how I do it here. And all I'm doing is I'm using the quiver, or the quill, to bring to make sure my end mill can come down. So just set your quill up, which is what I'm doing. And what I'm looking for is to touch the tool bit to the top of the material. So that's what I've done. You can see it's squarely on the top. So now I'm going to lock my quill down, and I'm going to back the tool bit back off of the part. Okay? Now we're going to go down to the handle again, and we're going to take the numbers right here and we're going to turn it back to 0. Again, this being our 0 at the top up here, you just loosen the lock nut up, move this back to 0. Now on your Z, you're going to have 100 tick marks here. On your X and your Y, you could have 200 tick marks. Once you're at 0, go ahead and lock that back down. Now you're going to get a little bit of slop, but that's not an issue. And what we're going to do is we're now going to turn our handle so that our table moves up, and we're going to move it 100 ticks. So down we're going, there's 70, 80, 90. We're back to 0. And that's 100 tick marks. So now I'm going to turn my mill on. I've got my cutter rotating in the proper direction, and I'm simply going to use my x-axis to make my cut. Another reason I like to use machinable wax, it gives me a very nice finished surface so that my measurements when we go to the height gauge will be as accurate as they can possibly be. You do have to speed or slow your feed rate down a little bit on the edges so you don't break the edges off. I go all the way past, turn it off, hit the brake, and now I've actually completed my initial cut. So let me move this back. I'll move this handle up. So what we have is the original height, and we're going to minus the cut height.